Hello dear students. Today we are going to start the one more new topic about the natural resources, or you can also call it as a one more natural resources. So in this session we are going to study about the soil as a natural resources, how it used to be takes place in the nature, means its formation, its different soil pollutions, how it happens, and the soil quality, who can be determine it, and the soil pollution how leads to cause a different harmful effects. So before that we will see one small portion of last session, that is about the water. So how the water cycle can be takes place in the nature. So first of all, cycle means it's nothing but a one pathway, or it's a natural cycle, okay, in which the essential matters get circulated through the abiotic and non-abiotic parts of an ecosystem. So here what happens actually in the cycle, the where from it releases, where from it get utilized, from there only at the end it comes and meet there only. So one more example I can give here. So before that we will see the definition. The water cycle is also known as the hydrological cycle. Hydrologic, why it is called as, because the hydro, this word always comes for the water related only. So is the continuous movement of water from the earth's surface to the atmosphere and then back to the ground. So this is actually the cycle where from it starts. It's movement of a water from the earth's surface and to the atmosphere, and then next to the again comes to the ground. So it initiates from the ground and again it end it to the ground level only. So how? There are the two processes which mainly plays important role in the water cycle. Which are they? First one, transpiration, and second one is evaporation. So transpiration means what and evaporation means what? These things you have learned in your lower classes. Then also I will just recap it. So transpiration means what? Transpiration means the excess amount of release of water from the plant parts. Okay, in the morning time if you have observed the plants having a water droplets on them, is it on the plants part? So those are nothing but the water which released excess amount from the plant. Okay, so that is a transpiration. So whatever the consumption taken by that consumption happen in the plants, after that it released. Okay, after the excess amount will be get released, that will be saturated on the bodies. So plant parts, I mean. Evaporation means what? Evaporation means release or heating of a water of that whatever the vapors comes out, those are nothing but the evaporation process. Is this so? Through this case, how the water cycle can be possible? See, from the ground level, the plants used to utilize the water. Is it? If it will be excess amount, that will be get removed out through the transpiration. From that transpiration, due to the sun rays, due to the sunlight, the water get heated and it get evaporate inside the atmosphere only, and later the evaporation process will be takes place. From that evaporation only, the we know that the cloud formation will take place, the water will get cooled down, and then it will convert into the water droplets, and the rainfall will be happens, and that rain water will again goes into the water bodies. Is this? So this is actually the water cycle. So in case of any of the water sources, or you can say a body, a water bodies, same process will takes place. From there only the sources, the transpiration takes place. From that transpiration again evaporation, then again it comes in the form of a rainfall, and again it meets into the water bodies. So this is a cycle, okay, which originates from its first point and again it's end into the first point only. That is a one pathway or the cycle. So this is about the water cycle, and in this process transpiration and evaporation plays a important role. So next topic is that soil. This is our today's main topic. So how the soil formation can be possible or takes place on the earth? We normally says that soil is there, is it? We actually don't know how that soil has came out, is it? So there are some reasons from where they used to be come up and where from the formation of a soil can be done. So first of all we must know that the layers of the earth, is it? Or what are the layers? Okay, so you can see the in the image you can see first one, that is a crust, upper one layer, that is a soil surface, next is a mantle, third one is the outer core, and last one is the inner core. So these are some layers of the earth. Okay, so upper one is nothing but our that outer layer is a crust. So soil is the uppermost layer of the earth crust formed by the continuous weathering of mountains. So continuous weathering means we continuous or uneven contraction and expansion of the rocks. Okay, so we will see in details in uneven heating by the sun. Okay, so the soil is the uppermost layer of the earth crust and formed by continuous weathering of mountain. So this is the actually the definition of soil formation, how it takes place. For your understanding we will see step by step how the rocks get convert into the soil. So first one, uneven heating by a sun. So uneven heating by sun means what? Suppose crust is outermost layer of the earth, is it? And which is richest in the nutrition minerals, is it? Then due to the sun, due to the sun rocks get expands. We know that on the uppermost layer of the lots of the different types of the rocks are available or present, is it? So due to the sun rays, okay, that maybe each and every rocks or the stones will get same amount of a sunlight, isn't it? Is it? We cannot define it, but due to the sun rocks get expands. So what happens whenever the sun rays fall on the stone or the rock at the daytime? I'm talking about the daytime. We are going to see both daytime and nighttime. So during daytime what happens? Due to the sunlight the rocks get expands. What happens here? They used to be get expands. And what happens during the night time? They get cooled down. So what they used to get? They used to get cooled down, and it means that they get a contract. Means due to the uneven contraction and expansion the rocks get cracks. So due to the which effects? Due to the continuous contraction and expansion, is it? Or daily the sun used to arise and sunset, is it? This our natural process, is it? So due to that the expansion or contraction of the rocks takes place due to what? Uneven heating of sun. Okay, uneven heating by sun. So due to this the rocks will get the cracks. So cracks will be formed on the rocks, so due to unheating. So this was the first. Okay, now we have got to know how the rocks get cracked due to the uneven heating by sun. Next is fast flowing water. So in this case what happens? How these rocks get broken down in a smaller pieces we will see mainly. So the presence of cracks indicates that going to be break into smaller pieces. We know that. Now in the first uneven we have seen that uneven heating. Due to that what happens? If the cracks are forming on them, it means that they will going to be break, is it? That may be in the smaller pieces or uneven pieces. Next, how these cracks break down into smaller pieces? See, water also plays an important role. Okay, so water also plays an important role in the breaking down of a rocks or the stones. So water plays an important role in it, and that enters inside the rocks. So hope you have ever seen the springs. Okay, most of the springs are having a lot of a big size of the rocks and the stones in them. So through that only the water used to be fall, is it? So that interfere in them, it means the cracking is also happens because of the interfering or entering the water inside that cracks, or the cracks also will happens because of them only. So this is the actually happens, that is a weathering. Okay, next, cracks when wind up Okay, the rocks will breaks into the smaller pieces. So the fast flowing water carries to a different places. So what happens here? Due to the fast flowing water, they used to be flow anywhere, is it? We don't know that where they actually will flow. So likewise only as they were flow, they used to be carry the rocks broken down, the smaller one, is it? So next is flowing water and the wind can also play important role in that also. Next, the lichens and the mosses. So lichens and mosses are nothing but a microorganisms. Lichens, we have studied about it, is it? These are nothing but a symbiotic relationship in between algae and the fungi, is it? We know that there are mutual benefits in them. So what they used to do, what is their role in them? Soil formation, they used to release some substances, and due to that the rocks convert into the powder form. So what happens here? Due to the leaches and mosses, we know that the microorganisms releases some substances, is it? That may be in the form of enzymes or any type of a substance they used to be released, is it? So those will affect on the rocks, the smaller rocks pieces, and they will convert that slowly on the rocks to convert it into the powder form. So this is the one way how the microorganisms also involved in the soil formation. So at the last, what will be the conclusion? The breaking down of the rocks is called as soil. So in this session we have studied that how the soil formation takes place. The next is, the question will arise here, what determines the soil quality? So who determines the soil quality? See, there are some factors like, see, humus content, nutrient content, how much will be the depth of the soil. This will also affects the quality, is it? If the, we know that what is meant by the humus content means the soil is more porous, is it? And the organic constituent including, so humus means what it made up of? It is made up of the dried leaves, twigs, remaining plant parts, and the animals decomposing, is it? And it will leads to forms the upper organic layer known as the humus. So the dried portion of the leaves and the plant part and the decomposed bodies of animals, is it, that lead to form a soil as a humus, and it will lead to increase the soil fertility. So what it does, it used to increase the soil fertility. Next is the nutrient content. We know that the upper layer of the soil is fulfilled of a minerals and the nutrition and the different chemicals like phosphorus, nitrogen, which are essential for the plant growth and the development. Next is depth of the soil. This is also one factor which determines the soil quality, is it? Next is the soil composition. So this is just for your understanding. So soil compositions are nothing but the clay, sands, is it? So these are we normally used for the different purposes for making and all these things, is it? So next is soil pollution. How actually the soil pollution takes place? Because of which things? Okay, what are the causes, and due to that causes what will be the harmful effects will be we will face on the earth, is it? Not only we and other living organisms like plants and animals. So we will see what is mean by the soil pollution. The addition of harmful or toxic chemicals to the soil. What happens here? The addition of harmful and toxic chemicals to the soil, which rents it in unproductivity, is called as a soil pollution. So what happens here? Due to the addition of harmful toxics and substances to the soil, it will leads to unproductivity. So we normally know that because of what it causes, due to the fertilizers, using excessive amount of fertilizers to the crops and the plants, and insecticides plus industrial waste. The industrial waste are nothing but, we know that whatever the water they used to be discharged outside, that is just mixed up with the different chemicals which they used for their production, is it? In the last session only we have studied that if the water will not get treated, is it, by the water treatment, by the primary, secondary, tertiary, then what happens? That will directly affect the earth, different resources like our water bodies, soil, and all these things, is it? So excessive amount of fertilizer, insecticides, what happens, continuous using of fertilizer and insecticide, that will affect on the soil only, is it? Not only the soil where they are using, okay, that will affect by the other land also where they are not using, is it? How in last session also we have studied about the excessive use of fertilizer and insecticide, how it pollutes or act as a pollutant for the water pollution. Same, they use the excessive amount, they will get flow through the soil, air, water, whatever will be the condition, there will be barriers or agents, they will get flowed and mix up with the water body. Same here also, same thing will happen due to the other agents or the barriers, they will flow from one place to another place and they will affect on the other areas too, is it? So industrial waste, we have just talked different toxic substances which they use for the productions, they will also, due to untreating the water whichever that they are going to be discharged, that will also affect the soil, because it's actually going to be mixed up with that. Groundwater is nothing but what, it's all mixed up with the all these things which are going to be discharged by the different work. Next, accidental oil spills. So accidental oil spills, we know that in the high production or the high large scale, in the large scale, if the production of high production going to be takes place, so what happens there, if they are producing oil okay, they are going to be extract the oil, so suddenly or accidentally due to some reasons, if it will get spilled, so what happens, it not only spoils their production, they used to be spoil the surrounding area too, and along with mostly it affects on the soil and the water bodies. If it will get mixed up with the water bodies, then what happens, it will require near about 10 to 15 years to treat that water. It's not that much easy that to treat a water and to what can we say, the separate the water from the oil, is it? It will require a lot of years. So such a things can affect on the soil and leads to cause as a soil pollution. Next is the acid rain, due to the using heavy amount of chemicals, is it, on the earth, by releasing to the, what can we say, the factories or any other industries, that will leads to cause acid rains also. So the fertilizers, pesticides, oil spills, acid rain, all these are nothing but the soil pollutants. Along with that, it's a water pollutants too. Next, what will be the effects? So the effect will be the soil erosion, plant growth reduces, or that may get a die. So soil erosions means what? Soil erosion is one form of a soil degradation. So we know that what is meant by the degradation, is it? So flowing water, rainwater, and the wind. So these are the normal things. How it will be affect the soil erosion? See, flowing water. If water is water flow is forcefully or more in a particular region, so what happens, whatever will be the nutrition on the upper surface or the layer of the ground, is it, what happens, the whatever the nutrition will be get removed from that place and it will get flowed from one place to another place, is it, and that may be no more for longer time. Next, the reason is rainwater. Due to the heavy rain also, whatever the nutrition will be there in the water, sorry, in that land, in that soil, okay, so what happens, that will get also vanished, the nutrition will get vanished up along with the heavy rainwater. Next is the wind. So wind is also one of if heavy wind storm or air storm will be there, what happens, whatever the nutrition will be there on the upper surface, it will also get vanished up, are the so all these are the primary agents which cause the soil erosion. So see guys, due to the loss of holding water capacity in the soil also, it will also affect on for the soil erosion. So we know that it's a mostly nothing but a drying up of the land, it will not able to hold the water for a longer time, cannot be able to provide a nutrition. If everything is going to be flow out, it means what will be remain on that area? Nothing, is it? So it means the soil erosion will happen due to these reasons, and these are the primary agents which causes the soil erosion. This causes loss of topsoil and also reduces the crop production, and sometimes due to the for a longer time or product what can we say, the fertility will be loose. It means that the plants will not be no more on their particular places or on that soil, so it will affects on the crop production potential. So plant growth will be reduced and they may get die if the fertility will be not there so for longer time. So this is about the soil, how it get formation takes place by the different ways we have seen. Along with that, we have seen the what will be the determination for the soil quality. Soil pollution means what will be the soil pollutants. Soil erosion definition, what will be the causes, how it will affect, is it? So in the next, that is the biogeochemicals. What is mean by the biogeochemical cycle? So see, it is a natural cycle. So it is a natural cycle or pathways in which the essential matter is circulated through the biotic and abiotic parts of an ecosystem. We know that on the earth both things are survive or life, is it? Biotic and non-biotic, which are living and non-living things, is it? So natural cycle, just before we are talking the water cycle, same is this one also, but in this both living being and non-living are involved. The natural cycle or the pathway is essential matter is circulated, it will circulate, okay, through the biotic and abiotic parts of an ecosystem. What is the formula for the biogeochemical? That is the biological chemicals plus geological processes. So in geographically, whatever the processes used to take place on the earth, in case or in addition to the living beings and the chemicals, is it? So this is all the combination of the biogeochemical cycles. In the next session we will see the different biogeochemical cycles in case of the essential chemicals or the elements which are important for the plant growth and other purposes or the other natural resources, how can we retain it for a longer time. So these things we will learn in the next session. So for any doubts and difficulties, you can ask me anytime. Thank you.